Okay, so Jay Schneider.
Yep.
You're CTO at Royal Caribbean,
Senior Vice President at Digital.
SVP Digital,
Yep.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
Absolutely.
And,
I look over, so I'm responsible for the digital transformation.
Yes.
I lead the digital transformation practice
yes.
over all of our brands. So Royal Caribbean International, Celebrity Cruises, Azamara Club Cruises, etc.
Right.
We're 6 distinctive brands.
Yep.
Everything from the smallest yacht that can
Yes.
get into the Galapagos
Yes.
to the largest cruise ships on the planet.
Right. And is that still Oasis? What is that?
No, the largest cruise ship on the planet right now is Symphony of the Seas.
And that's a Royal Caribbean.
It is a Royal Caribbean International ship, came out last year.
Yeah.
And so that's 6,500 passengers roughly and 2,500 crew total.
And as I mentioned before we started talking on camera, that I had experience with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was working with Royal Caribbean, Richard Fain was the new president.
Yep.
And I may have even done some media training with him.
Yep.
And we launched the Monarch and the Majesty of the Seas, first Monarch and then Majesty, and both at the time were the largest cruise ships.
And if you know Richard, so he's my boss.
Yes.
So he...
You won't remember me, but
that's okay. He's one of the most innovative people you'll ever meet. And
he's
so
been there 25 years?
30 years.
30 years, wow.
30, yeah, he just had his 30-year anniversary. So he a couple of years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago really, he and the board decided that they were seeing the same trends that everybody else was in the marketplace.
Yep.
Disruption's happening, technology's disrupting businesses, consumers are expecting seamless and personalized experiences, and frictionless is really what is what's needed.
Yeah.
And they recognized that there was opportunity to disrupt their own business, and so they hired me. And the board agreed to make an investment in technology.
So you're getting paid well.
Well, I'm getting paid. And I effectively became employee 1 of a digital transformation practice. We kicked off a program called Excalibur, which Richard named. And the whole idea is to digitize, I like to say digitize everything, but really digitize the entire customer journey.
Yes.
And customer broken into 2 groups. One, guest. So guest end-to-end journey, everywhere from how we acquire guests, all the way through the arrival experience, how they vacation, and eventually relive with us, and then the employee journey as well. So if you think of the employee journey in 2 parts, it's the hire to retire period of the process, as well as then how they service the guest.
Okay.
So what are the tools necessary to help them do their job, whether you're a stateroom attendant or an officer on the bridge. And so our program is really in 4 kind of big beats: a guest program focused on our digitizing the guest, an employee program focused on digitizing the employee, a data program focused on the enablers necessary for the guest employee, and then what I call is a foundational program, and that has a couple different parts to it. One is just the transformation of technology as a service within our company to get us to think as a technology company. And then number 2, stuff you don't see. So the infrastructure at sea really is the way to think about it. Network, conduit, cabling, APs, data center, all back of house, but necessary to digitize your guest and employee experience.
So my interest is the customer journey.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I remember several years ago, Royal Caribbean, there was some coverage about Royal Caribbean and how they would treat certain frequent cruisers, especially. They have this ambassador program, and there was a little controversy over it in that the ambassadors were incentivized to amplify through social media their experiences on Royal Caribbean. Now, I think it's very smart. But you still have that, right?
We have to do. We have an ambassador
that's not your
program.
area. That's more marketing or
social media. So our ambassador program is through marketing. Our focus is on really how do we disrupt the industry from a customer experience standpoint. And so if you think of the ambassadors,
so make it frictionless. Is that?
So let me give you a couple examples that really probably ring true. Have you you've boarded a cruise ship before, right?
I have, yes.
It's a painful process.
Yes.
And so an Oasis class size ship, largest class on the planet, takes about 60 to 90 minutes per guest to board a ship.
But you have ships, right? They don't roll.
Nobody listens to that.
No.
So at the end of the day, that's a friction-filled experience.
Yes.
So when I got here, we set a bar to say, we want to get you from car to bar in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
And so we've been able to do that. We've been able to reliably do that on an Oasis class ship, as well as Celebrity Edge, through the use of a bunch of different technology.
Right.
One is
RFID, that kind of thing?
global boarding pass that you use at the airport. Number two is custom technology for agents so they can get you through faster.
Right.
And then number three is we're the first in industry to introduce facial recognition boarding.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yep.
Because, as you know, the city of San Francisco just banned facial recognition.
They banned non-consensual facial recognition, and that's an important distinction. So what they banned is company and government intrusion into your life without your consent.
Okay, no China facial recognition.
That's exactly right. And so we built, and I'm a believer of privacy by design.
Yes.
So all of our new tech is built with privacy by design. Now, I lucked out. We started writing code after GDPR was passed.
Good.
Which allowed us up front to build in all of those protections, not just for European guests, but we've applied them broadly to all of our guests.
Right.
And so our facial recognition product requires your consent, requires you to opt into it. You have to get a security photo anyway to sail. This allows you to take your own security selfie. It allows you to do machine validation of your passport. And if you do those four things, you can use biometric boarding or facial recognition boarding. If you don't, that's okay. We still can get you on the ship in less than 10 minutes. If you don't, it's just a little faster and a better experience.
So, okay, I understand that. And in fact, I work with a hospital system that just introduced facial recognition, and we're trying to get news media to pay attention to it because it's very controversial, as you know, as you recognize. But we're looking for industries that actually, it's worse if where the facial recognition has real benefits. So health. That's what JetBlue is now deployed in.
So the interesting thing, and I don't know how your healthcare example, but I'm an advocate of biometrics.
Yes.
When done right, which is why I look at the San Francisco law and I kind of ignore it because it's non-consensual and we are consent-based. Right. So I look at it in a couple different ways.
Does everyone consent?
No, they don't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I look at it in kind of a couple different ways. Number one is what we've done with technology has made it better for everybody to board.
Yes.
So even if you don't engage digitally, because we've custom built agent tools to know who you are, we can get you through in 25 minutes. 25 minutes is better than 90, right? Now only about 15% of people don't engage.
Right.
If you engage digitally in some way, shape, or form, we can get you under in 10 minutes. Yeah. That's exactly right. If you engage with facial, it's closer to 5, 6, 7 minutes. Wow. Now, there's not a whole lot of win between 5 and 10 minutes, to be honest. The difference is, and this is where I vary from the airlines. Airlines is a bit of stop and frisk moment. When we first saw KLM testing, it was basically walk up, smush your face into this machine, we'll see who you are. Yeah. We wanted to make it a welcoming arrival experience. When I was at Disney, we would talk about turning transactions into interactions. How do you get the
so you put their
customer
faces up on a board?
No, you don't. No, but the agent sees them coming. So the facial recognition device is in your face. You see it. Yep. You don't have to stop at it. Right. It plays back who you are in a welcoming way. The agent sees you coming. They say, "Hey, Peter, welcome."
Wow.
I just need to see your passport, and then once I do that, because I have to visually make sure you have your passport before you leave the country. Once I do that, off this way to boarding, and they'll take care of you. Wow. You walk around the corner, another device pings you onto the ship. Now I don't need anything, and it's, "Hey Peter, have a great vacation."
I love that.
And so it removes those stop points from the experience and makes it welcoming. Which
Okay,
is
let's switch gears a little bit. I think that's wonderful.
So arrival's one of them.
Yes.
I don't want to lose the rest of the experience. So there's friction in the vacation experience. And so I call it two things. There's real friction.
Excursions and things like that.
Something goes wrong with your key. You look at your folio, you see a charge you don't like. There's a lot of different ways friction's there. So one of the goals we have is to remove real friction from the vacation experience. And so right now we're testing conversational AI, so you can chat with the ship, and the ship can answer your question. So you don't have to get out of your deck chair and go down to guest services and ask a question. You can do it in real time. Now, that's an AI chatbot, hopefully answering 90.
It's a bot. Okay.
Well, no, it's not answering 90 to 95% of your questions. And then if it can't, there's a human in the loop in guest services to say, "Oh, hey, we came up with a persona of the ship. You're chatting with the ship." So I'm chatting with Allure of the Seas. And then if Allure can't answer my question, it brings in Bob from customer service or guest services who absolutely. I wanted to make sure that we answered your question.
So with 6,000 passengers of a certain age, perhaps, you probably that would really alleviate a lot of the frustration.
It would, and our goal is to get you out of line and keep you on vacation.
Yeah.
And the second example of friction is what I call lazy friction, and that is there's a line, but it's at the bar. And I don't want to have to go wait in line for the bar for my margarita. I just want my margarita brought to me. So next month we're launching on Symphony of the Seas.
Yes.
Our food and beverage delivery program, where you effectively just open up your Royal Caribbean app, tap in margarita, and the margarita will be brought to your deck chair, and you can just keep ordering.
Are you going to give everyone free internet access eventually?
So that's an interesting question. So
I think Delta Airlines is about to do it.
They are, yeah. But if you read between the lines, similar to the San Francisco legislation, only for limited bandwidth moments. You're not streaming media off of Delta. It's you can text with somebody. Yes. It's basically the limited bandwidth is what they're hiding their free Wi-Fi banner under. For us, it's a different challenge, right? I get the question on, hey, are you excited about 5G all the time? And the answer is not at all. And the reason not at all is nobody's talking about putting 5G in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Right. And I'm not excited about Facebook, Google, Amazon, and others lighting up subcontinent Africa with internet. That's great from
it's not relevant.
It's not relevant for our industry. Yeah. In fact, what it does, 5G creates an expectation for consumers that they can get gigabyte on land.
Right.
They're going to take that same expectation and say, why can't I get gigabyte in the Indian Ocean? And the reality is, 5G and some of the connectivity efforts going on right now will create a hyper-accelerated gap for what low-orbiting satellites can get connectivity to our ships. If you notice, even in the airlines, it's great over land because they're using a combination of satellite and land. The second they get over the ocean, most of them lose connectivity because the satellite connectivity where we sail is pretty good, but it's not amazing as it is on land. And so for us, we try to, every solution I've described to you, we try to build in a hybrid way so that I can give you as good of a technology experience, whether you're connected to the cloud or if you're off the coast of Antarctica and there's no connectivity.
Okay, I do want to touch on one other thing.
Yeah.
So obviously the importance of TripAdvisor and virtual tourist and somebody, you can book a cruise ship, a cruise critic, whatever that is.
You can,
through multiple different ways. So
travel agent, supplier, absolutely.
Yeah,
intermediaries.
How important are they? Are they more important than the website? Or they all bring you back to the website? Or can you book offline? Can you book on Pinterest or on Instagram?
Yeah, it's a great question. You can book in lots of different ways, right? So travel agents or travel advisors play a significant role in our business.
Yes.
Intermediaries like Expedia play a really important role in our business.
Yes.
Our call center plays a really important role in our business, as does our consumer direct websites. So all of them play an important role, and we are channel agnostic.
Right.
You can book any way you want. Once you want to engage with us pre-arrival, that's where we have to know who you are, the consumer.
Yes.
You want to check in online, you want to book a shore excursion, you want to book your dining on our ship, you've got to engage with us.
How do you ensure that the brand identity is consistent across all of the digital touch points, prospects?
Yeah, that's a great question. We work hard with our partners to ensure that our brand, our pricing, the offering, how you sell our product is mostly consistent. Is it perfect? No. Right. But we work really hard. Our sales leaders work really hard to make sure that we're building the right partnerships and nurturing those partnerships. Other cruise lines, other travel brands are often focused on how do they cut out third parties to go to direct to consumer. We want a robust direct to consumer pipeline. Absolutely. If you want to engage us direct to consumer, we're focused on building the best, most badass tools to help you out. Right. If you don't want to, that's okay. If you want to go to travel, cruising's complicated. Right. So if you want to go to a travel advisor, we want you to do that too. Right. And we build really great tools for travel advisors to make sure that they have access to the same thing that consumers do.
Aggregators, I know that as you get closer to a cruise and that if the rooms are not fully booked, the prices come down. The price fluctuation is really runs the gamut from 6 months out to 2 months out to 1 month out. So
it does. It's interesting.
What would you recommend? What would your strategy be to a consumer?
I don't know that my strategy is any different than it is for any other vacation you're going on.
Yes.
Hopefully you're shopping around, right? It is always incumbent on the consumer to find the best price.
Right.
There are companies that offer best price guarantees.
Yes.
The reality is you typically then can find something else, and then to get that guarantee, you've got to work to get the guarantee met, right? we offer competitive pricing across all channels. There's every market is different.
Yes.
I was trying to book for my mother, aunt, and uncle's an Alaskan cruise, and most of our Alaskan sailings are sold out for the next 6 months. So, whereas if you want to sail on a 7-night Caribbean, there's a ton of availability.
You go to Japan at all, or what?
We do, we do.
We're starting to look at that.
Spectrum of the Seas, brand new ship, launched. Our inaugural is next week. Does a Japanese intensive. Yeah, absolutely. Azamara does Japanese intensives. So we have
Spectrum of the Seas.
Spectrum in the Royal brand, and then Azamara rotates ship. We only have 3 ships in the Azamara brand, but Spectrum's dedicated to our Asian market. Spectrum and Quantum. They do a great Japanese intensive.
I'm going off topic here, so...
No, it's okay. I was on Quantum through a Japanese intensive.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to do it. We do overnights.
Yes.
So in Tokyo, we'll do 2 days in Tokyo with an overnight.
Yeah.
We'll do an overnight in Osaka.
So
Quantum or Spectrum. So Quantum of the Seas on the Royal brand and Spectrum of the Seas on the Royal brand. Spectrum being the newest ship in our fleet, actually. It's the last in the Quantum.
Big ship, though.
It's a Quantum ship, so it's a 4,500 guests. Wow. So it's not a Oasis class size, but it's a decent size ship.
What did I miss, Jay? What are you guys doing that we need to know about?
The only thing that I would say, so it's how we remove friction, how we help guests have fun. You're on vacation, so you'll find little surprise and delights throughout our experiences. We do all of that, but then we also focus on the employee side of it. And so it's things you don't see.
Yes.
We built a safety command center. So if you think of how safety is done, safety was traditionally done in big charts, printed charts. Is now done through interactive tables with live streaming data to help make the experience safer.
Okay.
So there's a bunch you don't see. And then there's, as we have an engaged consumer, we get great adoption for our app on board our Royal ships and our Celebrity ships. Celebrity Edge, 90% of cabins tapped into using it. That gives us a platform to continue to innovate in areas we never thought of.
Right.
How to think different of the muster experience or safety experience. How to think different about what customer service looks like in the future.
Right.
How to think different of how we deliver food. It gives you a platform to do so much.
Right.
So, anyway.
Great to catch up. Is Royal Caribbean still the largest, or is Carnival still?
Royal Caribbean International is the largest line on the planet.
Yes.
Carnival is the largest conglomeration of cruise lines. We're the second largest. We're 60 plus ships across